Before you go, because I want you to put these proposals back to back, IBC, Punguza Mzigo versus BBI. I want to ask you, they have said they want to a referendum in June, early June.
Next year.
Do you think it's possible?
No, it's not possible.
It's not possible.
Next year it will not be possible to have a referendum in June. They can force it down our throats, but it won't be possible.
All right. Secondly, these guys are saying
also
they want...
Because the reason it's not possible, look at the timelines, even in the Constitution. That's what I'm saying. These fellows, they want to change the Constitution. But they have not even read the Constitution. They have not even seen the timelines in the Constitution. So how do you change the Constitution? Because the formula on how to change the Constitution is actually provided for in the Constitution itself. So with the timeline, it's not even possible.
All right. Let's look at there's also one proposal that have been brought in, and I'm seeing the MPs have already opposed it, the Senate, and those are the demands from the MPs. The referendum MPs demand on Uhuru. Legislators have also rejected the election of 2 Senate MPs, men and women per county. That is on page 4. What do you think about that? Does it erode the powers of the country?
It actually that's kuongezea wa Kenya mizigo, as Mzee said last week in a show. Kenyans are now questioning the value of representation. If you look at Punguza Mizigo Kenya, we have actually justified, we've done some sort of a comparative analysis with other countries in the world. We looked, for example, at a country like the United States of America with a very mature democracy. It has 350 million people and it only has about 535 representatives, meaning one person in the US represents about 625,000 people. We also looked at India, the second most populous country in the world, with a population of about 1.3 billion people. And they only have 800 representatives for both House of Reps and the House of Congress. Meaning one person in India represents about 1.6 million people. China, 1.4 billion people, they have about 1,200 representatives. Again, almost about 1 person represents about 1.2, 1.6 million people. Now, if you come to Kenya, a population of about 47 million, we have got 419 or 13, 416 elected individuals, both in Senate and the House of, National Assembly. And it comes with a cost of about 37.5 billion annually. And so what Kenyans have asked, what is the value of this representation? Why are we sending more people to Parliament, to Senate, and we see no value
coming back to us?
So what Kenyans told us when we went down to the ground, that we want you to enhance, to strengthen devolution, meaning the ward level should remain as they are, the 1450, okay? Abolish nominations, both at MCA level, at National Assembly and senators. So Kenyans wanted very few representatives. And this is a debate we had with the people of Kiambu, for example. The people of Kiambu said, why should we be equated with the people of Lamu, who are about, 400,000 people? And we are about 2 million. And we said, okay, fine. Let's now look at the value of your representation. You have about, I think Kiambu has about, 12 constituencies, 12 members of parliament. And Lamu has about 3. So we told them, okay, let's look at in terms of how your representation cushions you against burdens. We looked at the national debt. We used the national debt as an example. We said today Kenya, we have a national debt of about 7 trillion or 6-point-something trillion Kenya shillings. Now, if you are to apportion that national debt, which is actually approved by your representatives in parliament, so you, the people of Kiambu, because of your majority members of parliament did not cushion you against this debt. Because whether you are majority or a minority in Kenya, each Kenyan today owes about 120,000 Kenya shillings in terms of national debt. So let's redistribute that debt per person. You are 2 million people in Kiambu. You owe about 16 billion Kenya shillings to whoever gives us money. The people of Lamu owe about 5 billion. So your many representatives do not actually cushion you against national debt. We also use the example of the VAT Act. Remember the VAT Act last year, where your members of parliament did not cushion you against VAT on even basic things like mafuta, unga, maziwa. So it does not matter whether you are from the most populous community in Kenya or not. Representation, what is the value of you being represented? And therefore Kenyans say to us, let's send very few individuals to parliament, but strengthen devolution by ensuring that the ward becomes the primary unit of accelerating development. So this idea of 2 senators per county is actually overburdening Kenyans. Because remember, we debated many things as when we were promoting Punguza Mizigo. An MP comes with what kind of burden to you, the taxpayer? First, you pay him a salary of close to 1 million Kenya shillings. Then you give him medical insurance of about 10 million cover, medical cover. Then you give him a car loan of about 5 million Kenya shillings. Then you give him a mortgage of about, is it 25 million? 25 million Kenya shillings. When he goes to do his work, he actually charges you a sitting allowance over and above the salary. Okay? I've never seen any employee who is being paid a salary and every time he reports to work, he wants a sitting allowance. Like now you, your staff here, over and above the salary you pay them per month, they'll be telling you every time we sit here that you must give us an allowance. This guy who is doing your camera now will be saying, because I'm standing here to filming Ekuru Aukot,
I need standing allowance.
I need a standing allowance. And that's exactly how our members of parliament are treating us taxpayers. You know, so if you look at all that cost, and again, the other example we gave Kenyans is this. Let's take the example of county of Nairobi. Nairobi County has about what? Is it 5 million people? 5 million Kenyans? Yeah. 5 million Kenyans. And in the annual allocation, they allocated about 12 billion Kenya shillings, which is expected to do development, make sure there's water, security, roads, and all that. Now, compare it with 416 elected members of parliament who are allocated 37.5 billion annually. So it doesn't make sense that you are allocating 5 million Kenyans, 12 billion, and then 416 Kenyans, 37.5 billion annually. And these 416 members of parliament are not expected to dig boreholes for you, to clean your streets, to give you security, to assure you security. But the county of Nairobi is expected to collect my garbage, to ensure that the roads are tarmacked, to ensure that there is employment for the youth, and all that kind of thing. So it doesn't really make sense. And that's why we said, why do we give so much money to very tiny minority of Kenyans, and then we deny the majority a lot of money? I mean, if you deconstruct Kenya, the country we call Kenya, it is the 47 counties of Kenya, and it's the 1450 wards of Kenya, So why do we keep more money at the national level? Currently, it's about 85% that remains at the national level. And this is the money they steal. Every year in Kenya, Bitok, as you know, we are losing about 700 billion to corruption scandals. 700 billion. So to be an elected member of parliament, to be in politics, is one of the most lucrative jobs in Kenya.
Really?
Yes, it is lucrative because, you just sit there, you attend parliament 2-3 days, and you walk away with 1 million Kenya shillings. Over and above that, tumekupatia nyumba ya bure, tujue tumekupatia gari, tunakulipia mpaka sijui mfanyikazi, ati sitting allowance, sijui mileage allowance. Hata kwenda kwa constituency yako, where you come from, your village. Why should we pay for you to go to your village? Exactly. And so, yes, leadership in Kenya is one corrupt scandal. And that's why you can see corruption in this country will never end. Because the number one thieves are actually those people who are in leadership.
All right. I want us to look at the proposals before you get to that. Why are you pushing for a contested referendum? Because the guys who have been opposing BBI are saying, all right, if you guys want BBI, let's sit down and have this discussion. Let's agree. Let's ensure that we have a document that takes the consideration of everybody. Now, the people who are pushing for BBI are saying we must get into a referendum. I'm saying the newspapers are saying that Raila Odinga said you need to take sides. Those guys who are not pro BBI should already go to the no camp because we want to get into a contested referendum. Why? If the intention is to change the constitution, why do we need to contest around it? Why don't we just sit and say, okay, guys, we've agreed, let's change it?
The problem with people like Raila and the rest is that they are overstayers. They have overstayed in leadership for a long time. They have become bankrupt of ideas. There is actually nothing new someone like Raila Odinga can tell this country. In fact, let's delve into the heart of BBI report. And I keep telling Kenyans, there is absolutely nothing new that BBI is proposing. Absolutely nothing new. In fact, if we wanted to find out what ails this country, because that was the founding philosophy of BBI, we've had so many reports that have been written about the problems in this country. Look at the question of land, for example. You have got the Ndungu Commission of Inquiry that demonstrated the irregular and illegal allocation of land. Why hasn't that report not been implemented? You have got the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission. You know, where is that report? Because that report will tell you the people of Wagala, in Wajir, want to know exactly why their clansmen were massacred in 1982. You know, the Akiumi report, the Aukot report. Kriegler established the problem to do with our elections. The Kriegler report. Justice Waki in the post-election violence report established the problems of post-election in this report. Why are those reports not being implemented? Prime Minister, haven't we tried a Prime Minister? Even the people who is now promoting, Punguza Mizi, BBI himself, has been a Prime Minister with actually equal power to the President, where he actually clearly says they should share the power with the President on 50-50. Okay? At that time, for 5 years, and he failed, dismally performed. He was even the supervisor and coordinator of all government departments and ministries. So what is new now with the premiership? We tried the premiership at independence, absolutely nothing. You see, to expand the executive to accommodate a few tribal lords is not inclusivity. The real inclusivity in this country is when we equitably share resources, so that the person, say, in Todonyang, in Turkana, or in Mandera, or in Loitoktok, Lungalunga, in Kwale, should be able to enjoy the same services as a Kenyan in Nairobi, in Kiambu, in Nyeri, in Nakuru, in Uasin Gishu. And that, for me, is why I propose the idea that let's use the wards and make sure that in every ward we tick the box. Do we have clean water? Do we have good roads? Do we have basic education? Do we have health? Do we have security? Once we tick that box, then that way we'll achieve real and meaningful inclusivity. Inclusivity is not accommodating a few tribal lords into leadership. After all, they have been in leadership all this time. Of what benefit is it even to their people? And for me, my appeal to Kenyans is that please don't buy into this cheap politics, because you will be told, elect one of our own into government. Once one of your own is into government, your problems don't change. I can tell you today, and I can be brutally honest, since the handshake, the problems of the majority of Raila supporters, say in Luo Nyanza, have not changed. Since Uhuru Kenyatta was elected for his second term, the problems of many Kikuyus, who are his main supporters, have not changed. Since William Ruto was elected deputy president, you come from that part of Kalenjin land. Yeah? Have your problems changed? Because William Ruto is now the deputy president. Does he share his salary with you?
It's a personal struggle. Exactly.
So it's a personal struggle. So this nonsense that if we elect one of our own, even if today Ekuru Aukot became president, the problems of the Turus, Turkanas will not change. People will still have to struggle, because it's not even possible for me to redistribute my salary to my tribesmen, not even to the few friends that I have. You
need to start with me, to distribute to me first.
Yeah, but you see, even if I give it to you, and yes, the expectation is that once one of our own is there, actually we will all benefit. Actually, that is the making of corrupt leaders. And this is why the people of Kenya themselves are part of the corruption, because they are encouraging corrupt practices into leadership. And the moment you actually contribute to that, then you cannot also say leaders are corrupt. In fact, I have a very candid conversation with some political leaders, and they say, Ekuru, wananchi wa Kenya bana, huwezi kuongea nao kabla hujachota. Guys will even tell you that even if you go there and you tell them policies, nakwambia bana, wewe maliza story alafu you see us off.
Tufungue.
Release us.
Nasema tupe yetu.
To release us. Ati mambo
Stila anagonga mafunga.
Exactly. So we are one corruption scandal. Yeah, we are one corrupt scandal as a country, until we change our mindset in the way we elect leaders. In other countries, bana, watu wanaenda wanabembelezwa ati bana, see you become our representative. People don't want. Yeah, people are not interested, because if government is functional, who cares? I mean, I'll be more than happy to go lecture law, practice my law like I used to go. I mean, work abroad and consult on matters legal if the country is functioning. And that's why I come back to the point I made earlier, that for me, What continues to kill me as a Kenyan is observing the mistakes the political leadership is doing, and we are doing nothing about it.
Right.
That's what concerns me.
And the question was, Ekuru, why are we pushing for a concerted referendum? Why can't we sit down and agree? Because you're saying, all right, guys want this. This is what we want. Let's get on the table. Why do we need a contested referendum?
Because we are a democracy. And we must encourage divergent opinion. We are not a monolithic society. Just like these people of BBI want us to think that we must all think in the minds of so and so. After all, some of that thinking is so weird. I mean, why should I be forced to accept some of those lopsided thinking of the current proponents of BBI? Mzee Sei told you last week that they were forced. Some of the proposals there did not come from the people. So that is dishonest thinking. You want me to support a dishonest thinking, Bitok? I'm not. I mean, why don't we encourage a divergence of opinion? And that's why, for me, I will still appeal to Kenyans. Punguza Mizigo is still on the table. Have a choice between BBI and Punguza Mizigo. You know? They can try and kill Punguza Mizigo by infiltrating my party, by buying some members of my party, but the idea of Punguza Mizigo is still there. And I think Kenyans shouldn't be forced to think in a linear way. Because some of that thinking, honestly, is wanting.
And also I'm saying, we have Punguza Mizigo and we have BBI. Why can't you call you Ekuru Aukot as the brainchild of Punguza Mizigo and say, guys, okay, this is what we want to change? Because you also believe we need to change the constitution. That's why you came up with Punguza Mizigo. Why then can they be doing the table and say, okay, Ekuru Aukot, come on the table. Yeah. What are your proposals? Bring in Punguza Mizigo. We look at it in a very open manner, not all these underhand dealings that are happening already. Call in William Ruto, call in Mudavadi, call in Kalonzo Musyoka into a table, into a round table, and say, guys, okay, we want to amend the constitution because it's a national document. It's not a party document. What are your views? What do you want to remove from BBI? Or do you want to from BBI? Why do we need a referendum?
Because some of the proponents of BBI are cowardly or are cowards. Just like you invited Paul Mwangia to come and debate with me their proposal as I give mine. He chickened out. So they see it as political competition. And that's part of the reason why they infiltrated, for example, my party Third Way Alliance by either buying some of the individuals or purporting to incorporate Punguza Mizigo proposal into BBI. Okay? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with giving Kenyans 2 options or even 3 options. Let Kenyans decide. But this thing of beating people into a corner and saying that you must accept our proposal, you don't have monopoly of knowledge. As a matter of fact, some of these individuals, even levels of education, are questionable. You know, people do not even know where they went to school to begin with. So to try and force us into a monolithic thinking, I think that's very wrong. It's even against the very constitution, because the very constitution talks about freedom of speech, freedom of expression. So why not let Ekuru Aukot express himself in the best way he knows? And that's Punguza Mizigo. You, Raila Odinga, Uhuru Kenyatta, promote your BBI. I have no problem with that. But don't beat me because I am now coming up with my idea called Punguza Mizigo, and therefore you want to make sure that mine does not stand the test of time. Let ideas compete. And that's what intellectualism is all about. That's what human reasoning is all about. Let people compete in terms of ideas. You know, your ideas are not necessarily the best. Neither am I saying mine are necessarily the best. It's just a competition of ideas. And coming back to the question of why a contested referendum, the philosophy for me is that if you must amend the constitution of a country, it has to accrue benefit to the people. Remember, a constitution is a social contract with the people. So it's not a document of Ekuru Aukot or Bitok, and now you're trying to force it into people. There has to be a consensus, because that is the social contract. You know, it's what defines powers, creates institutions, and apportions powers to those very institutions. So, when I think about our Punguza Mizigo, and we did by the way a cost benefit analysis in Punguza Mizigo, and we say that if we are to implement the Punguza Mizigo proposals, we will save Kenyans about 3 trillion Kenya shillings. 3 trillion. So that's a great benefit to the people of Kenya, because with 3 trillion, I'm able to fix, for example, the problem with nurses, doctors, teachers. I'm able to fix security. I'm able even to make education free from primary to higher institution of learning. Let's look at BBI. BBI today, even in a pandemic, has swallowed over 20 billion Kenya shillings, for heaven's sake. We can't even give Kenyans a 5-bob mask. You know, even the masks that were given by Jack Ma to Liba. Yeah? I don't know where they went. So what kind of country are we? Even in a pandemic, we are not looking after our sick, after the dying, you know? So for me, there has to be a benefit. Let's cost BBI. Let's cost BBI and let's cost Punguza Mizigo. And you will see, Punguza Mizigo will save Kenyans more money. Yeah? It will even take money. I mean, and we had actually proposed that for you to equalize Kenyans, to achieve real inclusivity, you must apportion at least 100 million to each and every ward of Kenya. The 1450 wards. And after 5 years, that ward in the remotest part of Kenya should be able to enjoy the same services in that ward in, say, Kilimani here, Nairobi, or you know, anywhere in the urban areas. And that way, you achieve real inclusivity. Look at some of the developed countries in the world. Do you know, it does not matter where you live. I've lived in England, studied in England, and I've gone to what they call rural England, as opposed to, say, London or Birmingham and, you know, and the big cities. But when you go to rural England, it does not matter. You'll find a post office, you find a hospital, there is a road, you can take a bus, you can take a train, meaning whatever service actually is your choice. I want to go and live in Loitoktok, huko nyuma, so long as I can still access public transport, you know, schools for my children, hospitals. That's real inclusivity. Now in this country, if you go to some part, I mean, you can even hear a public servant say, "Maze, sitaki kutuma huko Northern Kenya, huko ni punishment." Ati nikituma sijui Mandera Wajir ni kama kuwa punished if you're a cop.
And there are human beings living there.
And there are human beings living there. And why? Because they are relating to the facilities that they enjoy, for example, in the urban areas that are not there. And that's why for us we said, if we have to amend this constitution of Kenya, let there be benefit to the people of Kenya, to the majority of people of Kenya, wherever they may be. In fact, true to the provisions of Article 6, sub-Article 3, it says that services and national organs must be devolved to each and every part of the Republic of Kenya. Now, if amending the constitution will achieve that in Article 6, sub-Article 3, then let's amend the constitution. But there has to be a benefit. Without any benefit to the majority, then it's not a proper amendment to the constitution. But if the benefit is to individuals, katiba si ya mtu moja ama watu wawili. It's for all of us Kenyans.
Right. So acha niende nisome comments, tukirudi nikupe nafasi ya dakika 10 na kitu tuweze utupe back to back comparisons between BBI. I'm sure you've read the BBI document.
To be honest, I've read it at some point where the more I read it, the more I get angry because it says nothing. Like, for example, there's one of the provisions says that we should be proud of our black skin. Since when did I question myself about my color as an African or as a Kenyan? Of what benefit is that to Kenya? Seriously. I mean, yeah. So we should be proud of our black.
I'm at the normal
our color. What proposal is that?
So since you've already started, maybe you just continue that. Put up the proposals against BBI. When you come back, we'll read the comments and pick up the calls.
Some of those proposals are very annoying, to be honest.
Anyway, all right. Be proud of your black skin.
Yes, exactly.
Douglas to share here. All right, let me just read a few comments. Kibet Kipto sama Betsy Koga sama locked from Nairobi West. Kibet sama Ekuru making a lot of sense. Not this BBI shouting all over the facts. Good research. Meshak Silva Nyamasaka sama, we want you punguza mzigo Ekuru. Karol sama, I voted Ekuru for president, my president. Sydney K Star sama, that is my president, the son of a nomad, very sharp mind. Samuel Kiblaga Diakon watching live from Rhodesia, Nairobi. Thanks for the program. Julius talk, please tell Ekuru Aukot not to stop talking. Kenyans need to hear the fact. Saidi Peter falling from Malaba. Julius Were, Judy from County 040. They can be very effective in the Senate. That is Jerodi Sokongo. Abbas Raila wanted to be president to help this country, but did not get Uhuru, Kalonzo, Gidi, Mudavadi and Raila today claim they are working together. Why aren't we seeing miracles in terms of development unless their union is just a scam? Some you are guilty with electing wrong leaders. We are all corrupt. Silas Kesaba, agree with you 100%. Honorable Court Kimotai Koech, is it possible for the two documents to be voted in the ballot instead of yes and no? All right, that could be an interesting referendum, by the way. Silas Kesaba, 2 trillion can be a third of the current debt burden. Interesting. Politicians are losing money through scandals has become the order of the day. That is Pauline Cherop and order of the day of the government. Honorable Julius wanasema Kilimani my ward, great ideas Aukot. Kimuthai wanasema is there any way we can vote the Punguza and BBI in the ballot instead of yes and no? That could be interesting. Like I said, Tim Julius wanasema these are the real stubborn facts. Ekuru is talking about Kenyans. Please wake up and catch up with these real conversations, not some few individuals who want to take advantage of our silence. BBI is a scam. Kwa someone to answer me, tuulize hiyo swali tena. Mburugu Kinya anasema I wish this Ekuru Aukot can get to people and educate us all what he is talking about here. Very articulate gentleman. One day you will become. Keep pushing. Do not sit back, my friend. Get out. We must all hear you. Start with me. Punguza mzigo. Anasema anapigia kura punguza mzigo. Julian Okapi anasema tackle today has really enlightened me. Doctor has touched on the real issues. David anasema wise thought that is on voting BBI and Punguza at the same table. Jeff anasema Ekuru Aukot for president. Very brilliant guy. Yusar Shakim anasema chama imeijakiwa sasa, kama party leader mambo yake ni chai rangi, je wafuasi watadu? Laura Odu anasema BBI should not be passed, it takes us back to the old regime. Kibiegon Ron anasema Ekuru is speaking sense. Kiprop Kevik anasema Ekuru Aukot is intellectual. John Burugu anasema watching from up in Nairobi. Abraham anasema I'm watching you. David Crow anasema we want Punguza mzigo, not BBI fraud. King Liko anasema true 1000%. John anasema Ekuru is saying the truth, keep it up. And Tuli Munya anasema good job Aukot, we need to keep on sensitizing Kenyans. Ekuru, give us a comparison, back-to-back comparison between BBI proposals and Punguza mzigo proposals.
So one
tell the main ones.
Okay, so let's talk about the main ones. For example, in Punguza mzigo Kenya, we say that we have to deal decisively with the question of corruption. That we must end corruption because this is what is costing Kenyans a lot of money. And with corruption scandals in this country, it has robbed us of a good education system, health system, good road infrastructure, and many other things. So in Punguza mzigo, we had proposed that we want to use the Auditor General report because that is a masterpiece of evidence to try and unlock all corrupt leaders, bar them from public office. Now, BBI is silent on that because the people who are driving corruption in this country are actually in leadership. We had also said in BBI, let's strengthen devolution. Yeah, to strengthen devolution, we need to do a couple of things. Number one, we say that at least 50% of national revenue must go to the counties. And the reason for us was very simple, that the people of Kenya are actually in the counties. And this is where actually development is needed the most. We had also said that to strengthen devolution, let's make national county assemblies autonomous from the governors or the governor of the county assembly. And this is a proposal we gathered when we went to promote our Punguza mzigo bill in at least 29 county assemblies. The MCS told us that kama auskizani na governor wako, you forever become a beggar. Yani, they wanted to see devolution beyond county headquarters. And that's why for us we said, to strengthen devolution, let's now concentrate on the ward as the primary unit of accelerating development. No. BBI is silent on that. It cannot talk about that because it's about empowering the people of Kenya. Punguza mzigo is saying, if we empower the people of Kenya, give everybody equitable resources, then we are able to even reduce the contestation of our national politics. People will begin to talk about issues and not just politics. People will begin to talk about ideas and not following tribal leaders. No. Representation is one thing that is very key in Punguza mzigo. Kenyans say that we don't need more parliamentarians. We need very few, but strengthen devolution on the ground. And therefore Kenyans say reduce representatives. No. BBI is proposing to increase. Parliament of Kenya will probably be close to about 500, representatives. And the question said, for what value? No. We also said in Punguza mzigo, let's reduce these salaries that members of parliament are earning at the expense of ordinary Kenyans. BBI is silent on that. Punguza mzigo said, to achieve inclusivity, let's take development to people's very doorsteps. So that me as a Turkana, I can feel proud coming from Turkana in my village in Kapedo, in Lomelo, the same way a Kikuyu will feel proud coming from Thika, Kiambu, or Gatundu South. No. So that's the kind of equality, inclusivity we have. Punguza mzigo steered itself from politics. BBI is politics. It is campaign. In fact, Punguza mzigo was uniting the country. BBI is actually dividing the country. As it has been said, Bitok, and you know this. Kama BBI haiwezi kuunganisha Raila Odinga, Ruto na Uhuru. Itaunganisha na magani wa Kenya. Wa Kenya wote. Lakini you look at punguza mizigo, every Kenyan could resonate with it. Yeah? People agree that these parliamentarians are too many. Right now, BBI is telling us increase. BBI, punguza mizigo was going for a lean government. A lean government. BBI is going for a bloated government. And this is why really it's regrettable even people like Paul Mwangi, who claim to be intellectuals, cannot come and debate these ideas. I would have loved for him to be here actually and debate these ideas, table his proposal, I table mine, and we cross-examine each other on what is the best proposal for the country, you know? And of course, many others. For example, in Punguza Mizigo, we had said, we reduce the cost of elections. Kenya is one of the most expensive countries in the world in terms of managing elections. So we had said, if you are a Kenyan who has attained the age of 18 and you have got a national ID, you should automatically be deemed as a registered voter. This thing of registering voters every election year and costing us 19 billion, we need that money to go into development. You know, BBI is silent on that because that was going to reduce the cost of managing our election. Kenya is one of the most expensive countries when it comes to elections. Imagine last election, Bitok, we could not even print our ballots here in Kenya. We had to take it to a desert country called Dubai to print. Dubai does not even have forests. Kenya has so many forests. Yeah? Imagine if we print our money in Kenya, why can't we print just a ballot, a A4 size, and put Ekuru Aukot there, Binot, nani anataka kumchagua, you know? We pumped about 6 billion Kenyan shillings to France. We bought those BVR kits. Yeah, Sava ifunguliwe. In France, they don't even use the same kits when it comes to election. In fact, they say, nani anasimama kura? Unasimama kura wewe Bitok, Ekuru Aukot. Aya, wanachapisha tu wana to A4, word format. Wanaweka picha yako hapo na your symbol. Unachaguliwa. Ati hapa lazima tuende France, we spend 3.8 billion, tuende Dubai 2.5 billion Kenya shillings just to print even poorly printed ballots. By the I don't know if you recall the coloration in those ballots was so poor. And I'm not surprised because why should a desert country print our ballots? Yeah? The country that does not even vote. In fact, they
give you food donations every time. Dubai does not have even an echo of Shamba, the Lima, but they give you food donations. The other time they had given you food donations.
Have you been to Dubai?
Yes, I've been.
Do you know, one of the things that they are so proud of in Dubai, actually taking what is called a desert tour, desert trip. It's really nothing. We can do our desert drives in Chalbi Desert, in Marsabit, or we come to Turkana huko tufanye some crazy driving. It's even more exciting than just
going to Dubai.
We have camels here in Kenya. Hatunaenda Dubai ndio unapanda camel when we have so many.
Na kuna vieti ya Ekuru tuende tukanyagie huko.
Exactly.
Huko desert, Chalbi Desert.
Yeah.
Right. So you're done with the proposal.
As you can see, BBI and Punguza Mizigo is like water and oil. One benefits the people of Kenya. The other enhances, benefits a few individuals, a tiny minority of individuals. And what saddens me, we talk about BBI, is that how even people who are supposed to be intellectuals, I don't know whether you saw how Adam Solo was being attacked almost the last 1 week as a dishonest intellectual who is defending this idea that does not even make sense. So you actually wonder, you know, sometimes me I think bana kuna watu tu walipitia tu university ama they were just passengers in the university because you go to a university and actually you come out as uneducated, you know. So you wonder where is even our brain capacity to be able to actually inject our intellectualism in the way we see the world, in the way we see our society, and actually be honest about it. And that for me is a sad reality about our country. But like I said, let's not give up. I mean, I'm certainly not giving up. I'll keep on talking because I don't want a situation in the future where my children will actually ask me, Dad, you are this so-called lawyer or intellectual. Where were you when you inherited this country? I fear to be asked that question by my children in the future and even now.
Ulikuwa unafanya nini?
Ulikuwa unafanya nini?
Wanaume wakileta BBI ulikuwa wapi? Ulikuwa BBI ulikuwa wapi? Tunaenda kufungua simu yego ndio pera bunge la mwananchi. Tunaenda kufungua bunge la mwananchi. Nambari ni 07798010 07798010. Bunge la mwananchi tunaweza kufungua 07798010. You can call in 07798010. Ndasoma pia comments tunazisubiri simu yako. Acha nisome comments hapa kidogo. Ngwea kama kuna mahali ilikuwa nimefikisha hapa just to pick up from there. Kuna Nduli kuna sama saying the truth keep up. Kuna Antuli mwenyewe anasema good job Ekuru, we need to keep on sensitizing Kenyans. Emmanuel Omondi anasema tena why is Raila Odinga rushing to amend the constitution? Why a court discuss this? Kimutaji Naro anasema BBI does not address real issues facing the people. Uhuru has just failed to implement the 2010 constitution, which has been hailed as progressive by many scholars and judges. Uhuru is looking for non-existent legacy and selfish interest through this BBI. Isaac Mwanta, what about youth, Mr. Ekuru? I would want you to also look at that, because that's some of the proposals.
Before I forget, there's one thing that the president said in his State of the Nation address. He still spoke about affordable housing. Can you imagine speaking about affordable housing in a year such as 2010, when COVID has really ravaged people? People are being sold left, center, and right. The economy is in tatters. So how do you even talk about affordable housing when we cannot even afford health? We cannot even afford just 10,000 tests for COVID-19. I mean, sometimes you wonder, bana, how are to? In which planet are they?
Wanakuanga wapi? Yeah, tusikie simu. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
Fine. My name is Erickson Obiambo.
Yes, Erickson.
So I just want to reinforce something Daktari said there about Third Way Alliance. You see, Gerald Bitok, I was there when the purported meeting to remove Dr. Ekuru Aukot as the party leader was held at Shelby Drive. Those who are con artists, they're still con artists to today. And I'll tell you something for sure. Those guys, if they really wanted to toy with the idea of joining BPI, then they would have left Third Way alone, just resign from Third Way in their positions, and go and join BPI. I don't know why they're dragging us, the Third Way Alliance members who are working for the party at the grassroots level, to this stupidity and whatever they're trying to orchestrate here. So the idea of Punguza Mizigo Kenya and Third Way Alliance is still so very alive with the people. And the people, they can tell, Kenyans are not stupid. They can tell who is lying, who is fooling who. As a matter of fact, I think Okango and Miruru and the likes of Okango, Miruru and this Andrew, they are fooling themselves, because what they're trying to hold on to is something they don't have. Even they don't have public trust. Public trust is something they lack. Anyway, those are my comments. And on the other issue of COVID, you remember COVID-19 millionaires, So if we are going to give priority to a referendum and people are falling dead, people will start falling dead here in the streets, then you can see the kind of leadership we have. Okay. It's really wanting,
So you believe we have our priorities wrong as a country?
Very, very wrong. And the problem is not the people. The problem is the people who we entrusted with the powers to govern us. Okay. Those are the people who are steering this country in the wrong direction.
All right, Jambo. Thank you so much for calling in.
Okay, thank you.
So umesema Ekuru aendelee kubaki kwa chama.
Ekuru, we are going to stand behind him. We're going to stand behind the ideals, the real ideals of Third Way Alliance Kenya.
All right, thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you.
All right. Kipkwaji Willie anasema bring Ekuru alongside Bill Okero and David D. But then I need to bring a power panel one of these fine days, probably this week. We combine the WDC and also the other guys from BBI. I'll bring in Mwangi. I'll still push Mwangi to come in atuambie ni nini anayepa.
Ambia wache uoga. Kama ideas yake ni mzuri. Si akujaambia Wakenya. To question. In fact, you should invite him when I'm here or somebody else who is of the opposite camp. Then it's good when ideas are interrogated. That's a question. And that's and as a promoter of an idea, you should not shy away from debating them publicly. And you see, one of the things that you will notice by the way, Bitok, even when they purported to have stolen
allow me to pick this because an international call. If he drops, he's gone. Hello, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning from Kenya. Good evening to you.
Oh yeah, mimi napigia kutoka New York.
Yes, sir.
Nimefurahishwa sana na kipindi chenu. Mimi naitwa Monda. Naweza kuuliza swali langu kwa lugha ya Kiswahili?
Anytime. Sisi ni Waswahili, tuko nyumbani. Ama unaweza uliza Aukot na Kiturkana.
Hapo asante sana ndugu. Sisi huko wana diaspora tumefurahishwa sana na ile kazi unafanya.
Asante sana.
Na maswali mawili hapa kwa wana Ekuru. La kwanza ni hivi, mbona imekuwa ni vigumu sana kwa Wakenya kuwatenga hawa wanasiasa vigogo kutoka enzi za kale, wale familia za Kenyatta na zile za Odinga? Na swali langu la pili ni kwamba Third Way Alliance ina mikakati gani kuweza kuungana na Martha Karua na kina Kivuda Kibwana na hivi vyama vingine vidogo? Manake changamoto ni kwamba hakuna uongozi mbadala. Kila wakati, kila mwaka, yale majina yale yametutosha: Odinga, Kenyatta, Ruto. Kuna mikakati gani Third Way Alliance inajiingizia pale kutuletea uongozi mbadala mkishirikiana kwa hivi vyama vidogo vidogo? Asante.
Asante sana ndugu yangu. Unasema aitwa nani?
Naitwa David Monda. Nimeweka pale comment yangu hapo, utaiona hapo.
Asante sana David, na tunashukuru kusikia kutoka kwako. Alafu pia kuna show tunaileta ya diaspora na naomba kwamba ama natumai kwamba utaweza kuchangia kwenye midahalo ambazo zitakuwa zikiendelea pale.
Asante ndugu, asante sana.
Asante sana. Kuwa na usiku njema.